Hello, happy new moon in Scorpio. Welcome to Spark Joy Astrology. My name is Joy, and I am honored to be here to break down all of the astrology on this very powerful new moon. New beginnings are ripe, friends, when a moon is opposite Uranus. We are most definitely getting a lightning bolt of inspiration from the cosmos to break us out of old ways and really set potent new moon intention seeds. This new moon is also conjunct Mars. So we got the warrior helping us to find courage to break out of old ways of doing things and to really move forward. Okay, so I wrote a little thing on Instagram yesterday and I feel like I want to share it here. So here we go, friends. From the scorpion to the eagle to the mythological phoenix, the house of Scorpio is one of deep transformation. Intensity of emotion is the driving force of this house's evolution. Deep truths bubble up, inviting us into intimacy through sheer vulnerability. Here, we also have the opportunity to examine our shadows, the parts of us that we project onto others because they are just too ugly to own ourselves. It's always our choice to not look, to maintain being the burrowing scorpion, or to bravely integrate the shadow and take flight as the eagle and ultimately the empowered phoenix. Choose fear and more walls of separation solidify. Choose to smile through the pain and you concrete a brick deeper into the wall of disconnection, loneliness, and heartache. Choose love and grace will dissolve the wall. Acknowledge the ugly parts, own them and love them. This ownership is the light that permeates the mortar, holding the bricks in place. Self-love, integrity, and taking responsibility ultimately allow the wall to fall down. Freedom awaits if you choose to do the work. This lunation is an invitation to see that the shadow you cast is truly your own. Ooh! All right, so this is all about deep shamanic work. Integrating the shadow into light. That is what Scorpio asks us to do. And with a new moon here in Scorpio, opposite Uranus, conjunct Mars, we are definitely been given a big green light from the cosmos to create potent new beginnings, around our own healing, around our breaking of patterns that keep us stuck and not allowing us to truly step into our full self. We have had an incredible week last week with planets moving in and out of places to really shift the way the energy is flowing. Venus, my homegirl, moved into her home sign last week on November 8th into Libra after a very long fight moving through Leo, where she retrograded, and then into Virgo, where she had to learn how to fully stand in her fullness and sovereignty, and is now out of all that uncomfortable growth and into Libra. Libra is her home sign. So this is the first time that Venus has been really comfortable in a long time. She feels strong. So our own inner love is flowing, friends. So with that being said, let's dive into this moon. Let's start with the two planets that rule the house of Scorpio. Because these planets rule Scorpio, they are most definitely a powerful player in the energetics of this moon. So we have Pluto and we have Mars. Pluto is in Capricorn and Mars, already said it, is in Scorpio right next to this new moon. So the ruler of the moon is right next to it, making this a very powerful Martian moon. Courage, bravery, the ability to cut things out of our lives with that Martian sword, and possible anger, frustration are very much a part of this new moon energy. And with it being opposite Uranus, we are being stimulated to really drive forward with that Martian energy. So Pluto, though, Pluto is in Capricorn. Capricorn has been where Pluto's been since 2008. We're at the end now, so finishing up a big cycle. So Pluto has a lot of wisdom to share at this point in Capricorn. And Pluto is actually making a helpful aspect to the moon and Uranus. As I said, the moon and the sun and Mars are opposite Uranus. An opposition brings in some tense push and pull energy that is challenging, but it helps us to work through tension to get better. What's wonderful with Pluto is that it's making a wedge to this opposition. A wedge is a pattern that is positive in the fact that it alleviates the tension of that opposition with a third planet. The third planet creates a sextile and a trine, so two positive aspects to that opposition. So this triangle is like a wedge shape. If you think about a wedge, you put it underneath some furniture and then all of a sudden it works. Well, that's exactly what Pluto is doing for this lunation. Leaning into the knowledge of Pluto, all that we've learned through deep transformation in our house of Pluto, wherever that is in your chart, you know what you've gone through since 2008 to seriously up level. And that's the knowledge that we need to lean into with this revolution, evolution energy of this new beginning, new moon. Because Pluto is making that beautiful trine to Uranus and sextile to Mars, it's leaning into all that it knows towards supporting that challenging opposition of the new moon in Uranus. New moon in Uranus can bring some unsettling energy. Nervous systems feel a little electrified. So Pluto asks us to, as the god of war, to maybe sit on Mother Earth, right? To find some grounding exercises. But for you, friends, you want to look at which house is actually ruled by Capricorn and lean into those sort of things today to alleviate any tension that the new moon is bringing into your life. Okay, we also now move to our second ruler of this moon, which is Mars. Mars in Scorpio is working to go deep, right? Scorpio is this sign that represents deep emotional evolution, intensity, power up. It is represented by the scorpion, the eagle, and the phoenix in an evolutionary order, right? When we are maybe working from more of a fear-based, which Scorpio can definitely bring in a lot of feelings like obsessive tendencies, dark, deep types of experiences. That's that scorpion energy, right? Burrowing into our solidarity, really kind of alone. But when we are able to work with that, see it, face it, then we are able to transmute that shadow through love, loving those parts of ourselves that are not so lovable, and become that mythological phoenix, right? And take flight. So, wow, friends, Mars here in Scorpio is really giving us the courage and bravery to evolve from the scorpion and see our shit, face our shadows, and evolve. So Mars is also opposite Uranus, we've already said that, in Taurus. And Taurus is also home to, right now, transiting Jupiter. Jupiter is actually not making any transits during this particular lunation. So there is no Sky Daddy energy blessing us. But Taurus is, filled with both Uranus and Taurus, or Uranus and Jupiter. And so there is still this Jupiterian homey energy rubbing off on Uranus. So expanding our belief systems, really up-leveling the way that we see the world, expanding our view of the world is possible with Jupiter co-present with Uranus, who's making that opposition to the new moon. Okay, so Mars here is empowered with, the new moon right next to it, but he also has an asteroid holding hands with him, and this is Ceres. The asteroid Ceres represents our mothering, nurturing energy. So Mars is being guided with a little bit of mom energy, which is helpful in the fact that it maybe tampers his aggression a bit. We oftentimes with the warrior can come into flights of passion and intensity, but with Ceres here, it's more softened. So that is a wonderful thing to just take in and breathe. But this erratic intensity that is Uranus and Mars is still very much vibrantly there. So how you can channel this erratic intensity is to meditate. Flashes of insight are definitely possible with this new moon. Crying, emotional breakdowns are a part of this. Breakthroughs, maybe through that deep shadow work, you're able to see a part of yourself you've never wanted to own, and there's a whole new level of awareness and maybe some apologies that need to happen. Now that Venus is in Libra, we can have some potent one-on-one experiences with our partners to maybe own up on some of this stuff and have those conversations. And Venus is supporting it, friends. But most definitely some breakdowns, breakthroughs, some shifts from maybe revolutionary energy into evolutionary energy. So very important to be mindful with the new moon seeds that you're planting, your intentions that you're planting, as far as working towards breaking old cycles. A challenging aspect that Mars is making is to the North Node, the point of destiny in Aries at 24 degrees. This can bring up feelings of not feeling worthy. Emotional ups and downs are very much possible here. But this is a time where we need to tune into our intuition. We may find that we're questioning our potentials. So that, logical mind getting in the way of our true knowing that we are okay and that we are supported towards this breakthrough. Mars is 2 degrees away from the sun and the moon at 20 degrees in Scorpio. So very empowered physically as well. You may find that there's a lot of energy flowing through you with Uranus spiking your nervous system that you need to move, friends. I highly recommend movement as medicine in the next day or two to work through all of this heightened energy that's flowing. Okay, so we are going to move now to the house of Sagittarius. We've already spoken to the fact that Venus moved into her home sign on the 8th. Well, we also had another friend move out of a sign and into another on the 10th, and that was Mercury. Mercury moved into Sagittarius, where, friends, he is not so happy. We got Venus moving into her home sign and Mercury moving into the sign opposite from his home sign. Whenever that happens, a planet cannot feel like they can fully feel comfortable, like they can't quite figure out how to be because they're so in such a foreign place from where they're comfortable. And you may wonder, well, Sagittarius is all about learning and expansion. So why wouldn't Mercury, who's all about communication and information, be happy there? Well, it's interesting because Mercury is home in Gemini, where he can be very busybody, learn about everything and anything, but not really go super deep about anything. Well, Sagittarius likes to go deep. It likes to expand into the grand laws of the universe and really get out there, where Mercury likes to stay in the details. And so there's this mismatch of energy here where Mercury doesn't quite know how to operate. But what Mercury can do in Sagittarius is bring in the ideals of Sagittarius, which is integrity, responsibility. It's the guru, the teacher of how to do life in the right way. It's very joyful and childlike, blissful energy. So here we are really given the opportunity to step up the game when it comes to integrity and how we communicate integrity. Integrity is the name of the game as well, with Mars conjunct this new moon. So okay, let's see. We also, last little thing I want to touch on this particular new moon is the house of Pisces. We've already spoken to Pluto being a wedge alleviation point to this opposition between the new moon and Mars and Uranus. Well, we have a second wedge in the picture as well, friends. We have Neptune in Pisces making that second wedge. This is very much indicative of leaning into our spiritual practices as that support system to alleviate the tension of the opposition of the new moon and Uranus. Neptune is the nebulous realms of spirituality. It's creativity. It's where we can get lost in meditation. And so what this particular two wedges is speaking to alleviate the tension of this nervous system riling up of Uranus, is to lean into spirituality, lean into techniques around transmuting shadowy energy. That's Pluto. So grounding exercises, deep breath exercises are really valuable with this moon. If you are somebody who is stimulated by caffeine, laying low, maybe not even drinking caffeine on a new moon that's stimulated by Uranus is a great idea. Leaning more into those spiritual practices of wellness rather than leaning into more of the physical, like Neptune can be escapist things, so not into the physical things like alcohol or drugs or anything like that. I recommend more into the realms of movement as medicine, like yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong, these sorts of moving with the body, but working with that nebulous energy of Neptune. Whew. All right, friends, we got Saturn also in Pisces going direct at 0 degrees. This was a lot of excitement. Last week we had on November 4th, this was when Saturn went direct, and we had November 8th when Venus went into Libra, November 10th when Mercury moved into Sagittarius. So a lot of flavor changes last week, but Saturn maybe not so much, because Saturn has been at 0 degrees of Pisces for like weeks now. Saturn went all the way up to 7 degrees of Pisces and then went retrograde. And then on the 4th ended his retrograde motion at 0 degrees, where he'd already been for like a couple weeks, holding strong, still there at 0 degrees. And 0 degrees represents a new beginning, a new cycle. So this is tying us back into the new moon energy of new beginnings with planting our intention seeds around this lunation. But it's also, oh, there's my doorbell. That's my child home from school. It's also about this new beginning when it comes to maturity, right? This new wisening up of how we love ourselves, others, and communicating those ideals to people, to the ones that we love, from this place of maturity, of wisening up, of understanding the complexities of life, because Pisces represents all of the signs in one. It is this container of connection. And with Saturn here, the reality planet in this nebulous world of spirituality, we have this bridge of bringing in more of our full selves, our full spiritual divine spark into this reality. So with that being said, I need to go unlock the door so my child can come home from school. Wishing you so much love, so much light, and I'll see you probably at the next full moon for the next astrological update. I just love the moons, friends. I just love them. And I love you. Mwah.